Something shifted inside you recently, and the entire energetic field around your life reorganized itself in response. You did not plan it. You did not force it. But suddenly, the right people started appearing. Opportunities began arriving without you chasing them. Doors opened before you even raised your hand to knock. What you once exhausted yourself pursuing is now turning around and walking toward you. This is not coincidence, and it is not luck. Something impossibly powerful was activated inside your frequency, and the universe immediately rearranged itself to match what you had become. Your energy changed, and everything else had no choice but to follow. In the entire recorded history of spiritual evolution, very few souls have made this particular transition. Most humans spend their entire lives in the cycle of striving, chasing validation, forcing connections, exhausting themselves in pursuit of things that were never meant to be caught that way. The shift from striving to attracting is not a mindset change. It is a soul-level transformation that takes lifetimes to complete. Ancient texts describe it as the moment a soul stops running toward its destiny and destiny begins running toward the soul. This event is so rare that the spiritual architecture of your entire lineage reorganized the moment it happened inside you. Recently, you made a decision that most people never make. You stopped. You stopped chasing someone who was not choosing you. You stopped performing for rooms that did not appreciate your presence. You looked at your own life and chose your peace over your desperation. That single act of self-honoring sent a frequency into the universe that cannot be manufactured or faked. It was the purest signal of self-worth the cosmos had ever received from your soul. And the moment you released the chase, something above registered the change. That decision was not small. It was the precise moment your magnetic field was permanently upgraded. You have been monitored from both sides of the spiritual spectrum. Dark forces invested years attempting to keep you in the cycle of chasing, because a soul in constant pursuit is a soul in constant lack. They fed you rejection, delay, and scarcity to keep your frequency low and your confidence dependent on external approval. But divine forces were watching something deeper. They were observing whether you would eventually turn inward, whether you would find worth inside yourself rather than in the validation of others. Every moment you almost gave up on yourself and didn't was cataloged. Every time you chose stillness over desperation, it was recorded. Remember when you walked away from a connection that felt good but required you to shrink. Remember when you removed yourself from an opportunity that looked impressive but conflicted with your values. Remember when you sat in silence instead of begging for someone's attention. Remember when you healed quietly without announcing your pain to people who caused it. Each of those moments was a test of self-mastery. Each one required you to trust something invisible over something immediately available. You passed every test not with perfection, but with a deepening commitment to your own alignment. That accumulation of quiet integrity is exactly what rebuilt your frequency from the inside out. There is a classification in the higher realms reserved for souls who complete the transition from lack to magnetism. It is not given based on talent or achievement. It is given based on inner architecture. The beings who oversee soul evolution reviewed your record, and what they found was extraordinary. You dismantled the need for external validation while still inside a world that runs entirely on it. That is considered one of the most difficult spiritual accomplishments a human soul can achieve. They classified you as a frequency anchor, rare, stable, and powerful enough to shift the energy of every environment you enter simply by being present in it. At the exact moment you chose yourself over the chase, God witnessed it personally. The archangels assigned to your soul's journey paused and observed what was unfolding in your life. They had watched you exhaust yourself for years trying to pull toward you what was never meant to be forced. And when you finally released it, when you exhaled and trusted, heaven recognized that exhale is one of the most powerful spiritual acts a human can perform. A divine conversation was held about what you had just demonstrated. What was spoken over you in that moment established a new covenant between your soul and the universe that cannot be reversed by any human circumstance. A decree was released the moment your frequency completed its shift. It was not conditional. It carried no expiration. The universe issued a permanent realignment order across every dimension of your life. What was blocked is now unblocked. What was delayed is now accelerating. What was withheld is now being released in waves, timed perfectly to match the version of you that exists right now. The decree states that you will no longer have to pursue what belongs to you. It states that your presence alone is enough to draw alignment. The striving season has been officially closed, and a new era defined by magnetic, effortless, divinely orchestrated attraction has formally begun. You are not who you were when you were chasing. That version of you was real and necessary, but it was not your final form. You are an ancient soul who incarnated carrying a gift that could only be unlocked through the specific pain of unreciprocated effort. You had to experience the exhaustion of forcing so that you could recognize the miracle of flowing. You are a chosen one, not because life became easy, but because you found your power inside the difficulty. You are a celestial being of magnetic frequency, designed to demonstrate to an entire generation that the most powerful thing a person can do is become so whole that the right things cannot resist them. Your mission is to be the living evidence that alignment is real. You are assigned to exist as proof that when a person heals their self-worth, stops chasing, and stands fully in their own energy, life reorganizes around them in ways that cannot be explained by strategy or effort alone. You are meant to anchor this truth in every space you occupy. The people around you are watching your life, and they are being quietly taught something they do not yet have words for. Your detachment is your teaching. Your peace is your message. Your rise without striving is the most powerful sermon your generation has ever witnessed. Watch what begins moving toward you now, without a single act of pursuit on your part. The financial opportunities will arrive through conversations you did not initiate. The relationships will deepen with people who match your healed frequency. The creative doors will open because the right people will feel your energy before you speak a word. This is divine infrastructure, honoring the internal work you completed in silence. Every sacrifice you made to protect your peace is now being returned to you as alignment. The universe does not forget investments made in self-worth. It compounds them and releases the return at exactly the moment you are finally ready to receive without shrinking. You will not need to explain your elevation to anyone. People will simply feel something different when they are near you. Your calm will disturb the anxious. Your confidence will inspire the uncertain. Your refusal to chase will give others silent permission to stop running. You will attract conversations, rooms, and opportunities that then ripple outward, because everyone you touch carries a piece of your frequency into their own life. You are not just shifting your own trajectory. You are becoming a tuning fork for everyone in your proximity. When they rise because of what they absorbed from your presence, they will pass it forward, and the ripple will travel far beyond what you can see. Across the world right now, thousands of souls are completing the same internal shift you have just completed. They are waking up inside the exhaustion of the chase and choosing themselves for the first time. They are healing their self-worth in private and watching their external world reorganize in response. You are not alone in this transition, and you are not ahead of it by accident. You are part of a global network of magnetic souls being activated simultaneously, each one becoming a frequency anchor in their own community, city, and generation. When your signal rises, it reaches theirs. When theirs rises, it amplifies yours. You are all pulling each other forward without ever meeting. If this message found you today, it was not random. Your frequency called it in. Comment 777 right now as your declaration that you receive the decree spoken over your life in this message. Share this with someone who has been exhausting themselves, chasing what was never meant to be forced. They need to hear that their shift is coming. Subscribe so that every message released for souls at your level reaches you the moment it arrives. And if you watched until this final word, That is your confirmation. Souls still trapped in the chase do not have the stillness to remain this long. You stayed because you are already living in the frequency this message was built for.